Coverage tonight presented by Asphalt Racing Network. Brought to you by Decals, Paint and Photoshop, and of course, Young Hitter Collectibles for all your new and old collectible needs. Be sure to check us out on Whatnot. The only race we get to do this, that will be today. It is the Duel on the Dirt at Eldora. Of course, this race sponsored by Decals, Paint, and Photoshop. This should be a fun race today. Is this going to be a tricky race for a lot of drivers? Time lap currently rolling now. So not only do these drivers have a very minimal opportunity to even get a good qualifying lap down, they also have to fight their way through heats. Top 10 automatically advance themselves in on position. Everybody behind them has to advance their way in. Now, of course, the stages are 25 and 50 for the main event. Top 10 advance into the show, and there will be heat races. Well, there will be 10 laps apiece. Top 4 advance until we meet our minimum. Of course, if there are people that don't advance in, there will be a consolation race at 50 laps. But I don't think we're going to have to see that consolation race. So it might be Heat 1, Heat 2, and the feature. Of course, a lot of drivers don't have access to consistently run this track, so it's also going to be a little bit difficult for them to kind of maneuver. Drivers have been practicing all week, of course, but you know, the longer you practice, the more you find a little bit of a few holes in your situation. Of course, entering and exiting pit road is probably going to be a big problem here tonight for a lot of drivers. Seems like Mike Nitti might be the last driver actively qualifying right now. I can tell you folks, I'm definitely going to enjoy this because this is actually Asphalt Racing Network's first dirt broadcasting event. Mike Nitti, a man to beat. Of course, as always, you know how we like to keep it. White flag out for qualifying now. Heat 1. Drivers are set. 10 laps for Heat 1. Laird Lander is going to be starting in first with Chad Bass in second. Stephen Jack in third. Sherrow in fourth. Mark Randall Jr. currently in a subathon in 5th. Mike Nitty Jr. in 6th, with Taylor Miner rounding out in 7th. 7 drivers to start off here for Heat 1. And this is where the fun starts. Of course, drivers only get 10 laps here to qualify themselves in. This will determine their starting position for the actual heat, so this does matter. It's a lot of the drivers' first times on dirt. Some have experience on dirt. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for the entire main event race here tonight. Of course, iRacing cautions have been turned off. The only cautions we will be having are coming from the sky. As the pace truck is off in turn 3 and 4, the green flag is out. 10 laps for these drivers now begin. Already looking at a lot of slow-paced racing so far. Mike Nitty trying to make his way up the field. He's already got 4 positions in second, using that inside line to his advantage, making it work pretty well for him here now. 68 of Laird Landers still holding that lead strong. Nitty up 4 positions. Holding strong as Chad Bass kind of finds his way into the wall on the outside. Mark Reynolds Jr. in 4th right now. There is a wreck into the infield already. Lander's going to be coming up on those drivers soon with 7 more laps to go. Mike Nitty really trying to catch up to Landers right now. On the coattails right now, really slowing down. Honing on his corners, takes it on the outside. He was holding about 1/10 to Landers, now passes him on the outside line to comfortably take over first place. Chad Bass is in second place with Laird. Now in third, Taylor Miner, then Sherrow. In 5th, Mark Randall Jr. and Steven Jack, 6th and 7th. 4 more laps to go. It seems like Mike is going to take Heat 1 at this point in time. About a second and a half away from the 38 of Chad Bass. Looking at our stand cams here, you see the wide angle of the track. 64 holding strong, taking the white flag this time by the line. 2.5 seconds back from his competition. Mike, uncontested, good, clean runs there. Now Mike Nitty Jr. takes Heat 1. Uh-oh. Papa Mickey waiting on that grandbaby. Congratulations to you, Mickey. I know it ain't there yet. But everybody in chat, wish the People's Champ a great congratulations on becoming a grandparent. Mike couldn't even get into victory lane before it kicked over to Heat 2. Damn, does that suck. Definitely look forward to seeing you back here next week where we get to start calling you Papa Mick in the booth. Now, of course, Kevin Knopf gonna be in first for Heat 2. Jerry Ward, Aaron Wright, Jim Felix, Jesse Singleton, Jeffrey Bourne, and Corey Moore will be in Heat 2. Moore not touching the track right now. So as of right now, it seems like we're only going to have 6 drivers in Heat 2, which is probably going to let all of them advance in. We were already in that situation anyway where a majority of the drivers were going to advance in anyway. Numbers kind of slimmed down throughout the week here as I'm assuming drivers had some research and development and didn't like the way the cars felt, probably using a provisional here tonight. Right now, pace lights are off. Heat 2. Moments from a green flag. Green flag out for Heat 2. Knopf in your lead position. Ward in second place. And they're about 2-3 wide for third already. 78 of Wright going to lose a position. Singleton up 3 right now. Jerry Ward in second. Knopf has done his homework. He knows the track. The question is, will this line prevail for him through and through? Will we see a downfall, kind of like we saw with Heat 1? Lead driver started off, had a really good run there, of course, kind of fell off as the track got grooved up a little bit, only 10 laps, so it's not going to get so grooved, but I mean, still, you're going to add some marks into that track. It's going to throw your lines off. Knopf right now only 0.5 of a second in front of the competition as Singleton is now closing the gap with the 89 of Ward, not too far behind. Top 3 in spitting distance of each other. Let's go to the cockpit view, something you don't see much here. Of course, drivers needing windshield tear-offs. See, Knopf kind of lost it there. It's going to allow Singleton to get into the lead. Look at how they're entering these corners. You got to turn right to go left, folks. There's going to be a lot of this tonight. Jerry Ward in the wall, seeing that dirt spray. Of course, our cams are clean and green here tonight, so we don't have to worry about any tear-offs. Now 5 laps to go. Singleton has the fastest lap on the track right now with an 18.49. Looking at the best time, it's actually a 4.5. My telemetry's off just a little bit. You see kind of the same thing with Nitty using that high line to prevail at the end of the race. So it seems like that high line is really going to be the move tonight for a lot of drivers involved. Knopf in second. Singleton this time around to take the white flag in the lead. White flag waving in the air now. Singleton in the lead. Knopf in second. Ward in third. Aaron Wright and Jeffrey Bourne 4th and 5th. Felix in 6th place, around on the front stretch. And here comes Singleton to win heat number 2. Nothing we haven't touched much on. This pit road entrance is going to be very tricky for these drivers. Now, of course, Heat 2 winner, Jesse Singleton. Heat 1 winner, Mike Nitti Jr. Enter night is right. The Sandman has officially entered. Now drivers get their practice laps in here for the duel on the dirt at Eldora as we go to warm-ups. And while we go to warm-ups, we're going to take a commercial break, and we will be back with green flag action and a little bit more of pre-race. So don't go anywhere, anybody, as we still have about 4 minutes left. We'll catch you in about 4.
Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races, such as the Daytona 24, Spa 24, and the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR schedule, such as the Daytona 500. We have events from disciplines all across the racing world, from the Indianapolis 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature, where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events utilize iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against every driver taking part. And as every race progresses, watch and feel the track change with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iracing.com/special-events.
So, if you have been watching through the break, as we're going to bring our audio sources back, if you have been watching through the break, it's been a little hectic here on the track for some of these drivers. The checkered flag is out. The last opportunities for these drivers to call it quits for tonight is now. Because it is about to get dicey, my folks. Ladies and gentlemen, the Right Time Sim Racing League is now officially ready to go green for their first race at Eldora on dirt. Looking at your grid, Christopher DeWald has taken first place with Tristan Pena in second, Mark Morton in third, Omar Rodriguez Jr. in fourth. Pinola rounding out your top five. Of course, just outside of the top five is going to be Jared Smith in sixth, Garrett Crawford in seventh, David Callahan in eighth, with David Dean in ninth, Matthew Francis in 10th, Mike Nitty Jr. in 11th, Singleton in 12th, Chad Bass in 13th, Kevin Nolf in 14th, Laird Landers in 15th with Ward in 16th, Miner in 17th, Aaron Wright in 18th place, Blake Sharrow in 19th, Jeffrey Board in 20th, Mark Randall Jr. in 21st, Jim Felix in 22nd, Steven Jack in 23rd, and Corey Moore rounding out your field, I do not believe, on the track. So 23 drivers, all drivers have advanced here to the feature. Here we go. If you got channel points, you better know what I want you to play here. Waiting for the pace car to go in this time. Pace car is in now. Let's go racing. Stage one officially now set. Mark Morton currently in the lead here. He has gained this lead early on, and he is running away with it right now. Of course, a lot of dirt going to be thrown up. Just look at the cars on the field here, slinging dirt into the stands. Top five changing a lot so far. Mark Morton is in first place. He's already up 2 positions from where he started. Singleton with a spin out. He is going to regain on the field, but he is most likely going to be real far off the pack. About to go a lap down already. That is your leader, not too far behind. We're going to try to keep up with the wrecks as fast as possible, as there's not going to be cautions for one-car wrecks. Now looking at the replay that led Singleton to spin out. A little bit of contact there, right into the inside wall he went. Currently, Morton still your leader. Singleton has gained a little bit more time, not much. Seeing a lot of dirt already on that safety barrier outside a wall. This track will be grooved up. But at the time we are done with this race, of course, stage one, 25 laps. Mark Morton holding on strong to the lead right now. Christopher DeWald is in second place. Pena in third. Callahan in fourth. You know, and for someone that he told us they're not good at dirt, they need to get a lot of practice done. He seems to be doing good right now. He's up 3 positions from where he gridded. Named Ross Chastain, a Wendy's inspired theme here. Of course, made by Decals, Paint, and Photoshop. So if you guys need anything, make sure you're hollering at that man. Jared Smith rounding out our top 5 right now. Following the 51 of Singleton, who is getting a part of lap traffic now. Ray Pinola, he is in 8th place. Down 3 positions from where he started right now. That Haviland 91 trying to make the best out of a worst situation. Already 10 laps into stage 1. To go. Morton still in the lead. DeWald now fighting for second place. He has some lap traffic in front of him as the 44 is a lap down. That is Jim Felix. See the 99 just in front of him, about a half a tenth away. Oh, sorry, 5/10 away. Tristan Pena in third. About a second behind the leader right now. About a second and a half, actually, behind the leader. And then some, trying to solidify this groove here. Of course, as the race goes on, that asphalt is going to end up becoming apparent as the dirt is going to be slung away. So something to look out for here. The farther we go into this race, the slicker this track is going to be. Now following 69 of Crawford, he is in 9th place. Only one position down from where he started right now, trying to get everybody a look on the field here. Sitting pretty comfortably. Laird Landers, the 68, he is in 16th, a position down from where he started. The 50 of Pena still currently in 3rd place. Mark Randall, the 21, he is in 15th, 6 places up from where he qualified. A lot of drivers still new here. They're having to get acquainted with the track, acquainted with dirt in these trucks as we have gotten a new aero package. And it has been a little bit unforgiving for these drivers. Of course, you got to go right and go left. We're normally used to burning that rubber to the left side with the wheel cranked all the way to the left about 90 plus degrees. So it is a little difficult for some of these drivers now to have to kind of break their brains and go right and go left, as we're seeing with Randall having to really fight the steering wheel a lot right now to get that car comfortable. You see him really coasting it in the corners. You know, it's a smart move here. The name of the game is consistency. If you can stay on the track as long as possible and let other cars wreck out in front of you, then you'll gain positions throughout the night. Of course, a little bit of contact there that pushed him up to that outside wall. Thankfully, that wall was able to recover it. We got a wreck on the field with Shero. Shero spun himself out. Inside wall contact, same with Jim Felix. Your leader, Mark Morton, is also wrecked. He is currently not in the lead. He is in 8th place right now. Christopher DeWald holding the lead. You're seeing Singleton in front get loose as well. Wrecked right in front of the leaders, and that caused a lot of a chaos on the track. Caution is out. First caution of the night. Of course, your leader was involved in that, so that's going to cost him some time. The biggest question is, how will drivers maneuver this pit road? Watching the pit exit cam as they all go by this time, meaning the pits will be open next time. We're going to be watching the entrances as well. Kicking over to the entrances now. You're already seeing the 99 of Morton in. No meatball flag for that 99, so that is a good sign. He's going to be able to get back out with no worries. course, Morton not the only one in this time. Jeffrey Bourne also in pits in the Dollar Tree at number 1 temporarily. Christopher DeWald ready to take us back to green flag action as the pace car is in this time. Green flag back out on the field now. 42 of DeWald in the lead. Here comes Pena on the bottom side. Grasp the lead for a second. Now Jeffrey rejoining on the field. He will be, I believe, a lap down, if I'm not mistaken. He is 3 laps down. Of course, they're one of the few times we'll probably see a restart in the Veterans United restart zone. Now the 42 of DeWald honing it in for the first 25 laps here. DeWald going to take stage 1 as a win. With stage 1 officially done, it's now going to be open for this drivers. We're going to go to a quick sponsor break. And we'll be right back with more action for stage 2 in just a few short moments. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Ready to go back green this time. Green flag back out, stage 2. In the Veterans United restart zone, we got another green flag. Of course, the right time in T. Elliot's Truck Series here at Eldora. If you're just tuning in, you have missed a crazy first 25 laps. Mark Morton shot out to the lead, got involved in a wreck there with about 4 laps to go, cycled out to 8th place. Christopher DeWald was put up to 1st and has claimed stage 1 for himself. Now stage 2 for another 25 laps. Gonna let the camera bounce around real quick and just watch some of these drivers go on by. '33 of Blake Sherrill around. that time. David Callahan also involved in a situation on the track. We're going to watch Blake's first. About the same situation we've seen from Blake's show earlier, just getting a little bit loose in the wrong area in the corner. Same with David Callahan. Callahan making a little bit of contact with the 69, spun himself around. Thankfully did not get collected by anybody else. 14 to go. Stage 2. These caution breaks, not really long for these drivers either. Not much time to get some rest and relaxation in behind that wheel before you got to go back to chaos on the field here. That makes for great race, and looking at our spectators' cams as the leader goes around the track, Christopher DeWald still in the lead. He is about a second and maybe a second and roughly just under a second and a half away from the 64 of Mike Nitti Jr., who is in second. You see a big pack right there trying to maneuver each other respectfully, cleanly, and a little bit slow. That is going to add to a little bit of a track blocker, shall you call, for some of these cars trying to get around. Chad Bass in the 38 in about the middle of that pack, sitting about 8th. Another spin out in the back. Damon Dean around. Matthew Francis as well. We saw that on the cameras just on the outside there. Inside of the turn, watching the replay now to show you exactly what happened. Francis got loose, Damon Dean made contact, and then once again Callahan, wrong place, wrong time. Thankfully Callahan really didn't get any damage off of that. He's still sitting currently in 10th. Truck looks fine. You're starting to see that high side really get grooved out from where everybody's been running it. You got to wonder, is that why they're starting to get a lot looser? 8 laps to go in stage 2. 43 laps are done up to this point in time. Of course, Mike Nitti Jr. sitting in second, and Ray Pinola around on the wall. Lot of misfortune for some drivers here tonight. Drivers going laps down pretty early on. Made some contact with that 91. And then followed it up with a little bit more contact to the 5. 90, I believe that was the 99 of Mark Morton. Also, no, that was not the 99 of Mark Morton. 89 of Jerry Ward. Getting a head-on collision there, so that is definitely going to kill a little bit of momentum for those drivers. 6 laps to go in stage 2, and it seems like DeWald's going back-to-back here. He's got to be careful. You got the 64 of Mike Nitti Jr. in second place, just roughly under 2 seconds back from him at this point in time. Both drivers have been doing pretty good. Of course, Nitti has seemed pretty consistent here, pretty comfortable. You even saw it in the heat race. He preferred that high line, but now that that high line's wearing out, he's using that bottom side. Not many people have been down there, so it might be good. Peña spins out behind. That could have been a risky start there for the end of stage 2. 19 of the 50 make contact. They are going to slow down. 50 clears out the 19 on the front nose. That's Damon Dean. 2 wrecks for him now. The 50 is going to lose a lot of momentum and time. Now falling back to the rest of the pack. Smith in 4th, not too far behind, about 5/10 of a second. Now all eyes on DeWald and Nitti as they are within a few seconds of each other. The 42 still holding on strong to the lead, but he has a lot of lap traffic behind him. And the same goes for Nitti. 3 lap cars in front. Can he make it up any time to that 42 of DeWald with 2 to go? This time by the line. DeWald will take the checkered or white flag for the stage once again, going to a yellow. 1 more lap to go. DeWald looking for the sweep now. 2.5, almost 3 seconds back is Nitti. He does not have to worry about anything behind him as DeWald crosses the line. he is going to be able to take stage 2, even though there is a huge gap. Stage 2 finished now. Duel going back to back. We might be able to see a sweep here. As of right now, it's going to be a little tricky, though, to have to maneuver. Of course, another sponsored break, and we'll be back within a minute for more racing action. Don't go anywhere, don't touch those dials, and definitely don't touch those mouses. We will be right back.
Welcome to VMT Collectibles, your pit stop for premium collectibles. We specialize in authentic 118, 124, and 164 scale die-cast cars from top brands like NASCAR, NHRA,
Where's that
Hot
Bass Pro
Wheels,
at?
ERTL, GMP, and Auto World. From rare chase pieces to limited edition releases. But we are more than just diecast. Explore our curated section of retro video games, action figures, and hard-to-find collectibles that fuel nostalgia and passion. Live on Whatnot for heart-pounding bidding wars and instant deals. Can't make the stream? Be sure to follow us on Facebook for previews of upcoming shows at VMT Collectibles. Once again, that is VMT Collectibles.
Ready to go for stage 3. Not much more in the tanks for some of these drivers. It's been a very difficult night. We have been commercial free for the last 53 laps. And now here comes the biggest part of the night, the biggest brunt of the race, stage 3. Now here we go. Green flag back out now, and the Veterans United restart zone. 64 of Mike Nitti in third. Tristan Pena in second, and once again, the 42 of Christopher DeWald running back out into the lead, trying to get the sweep here. 61 laps of racing left to go. As we are on lap 56, there's a lot of racing left for these drivers now. And the biggest question of the night is, will we see that sweep? Or will we see someone else take that win away?
The
Did you? Someone that couldn't, oh, I'm gonna get killed for this. Someone that couldn't perform good on the track tonight is gonna join us in the booth after he had his first night on broadcasting. The other night, it was a great night, 3-person team. That's gonna be the 33 of Blake Sharrow, whose car is now in the garage. And he said, screw it, I'm coming to hang out with you.
How's it going, Tyler? Glad to wish I was in here on different circumstances, but I'm glad to be here nonetheless.
Hey, look, man, I'll take it anyway. It's good. It was good having the booth with a three-man team, the first three-man team here for ARN. But of course, now we get to hear a little bit more from you tonight, and we get to kind of pick your brain a little bit more as you were on the track. Now, the racing here, I mean, just looking to that outside wall, it is completely tore up between the scratch marks from the right rear fenders, off the walls, people getting a little bit too loose, the dirt all over the track. And now kind of what we're starting to see is that high line really starting to get grooved out. You see that pattern that the 42 at DeWald's kind of racing in now, where they're also getting really loose in, possibly a little bit of asphalt starting to stretch out. How was the track feeling for you while you were on it?
Man, it wasn't feeling great. I wish I could say it had something to do with the track wearing down, but it didn't. I'm just, I'm not a dirt guy. You know, I'm a asphalt pavement. Dirt is not my forte. That's why, you know, I parked pretty early. I'm not too happy with my performance tonight, but I was kind of expecting it. Yeah, dirt's just not my thing, but.
So, I mean, dirt track racing in general is difficult. No matter if you're in the trucks, you're in the trophy trucks, you're in the new FIA cross car, it really doesn't matter where you're at. Dirt is a very difficult track. And you know, having to turn right to turn left, you really have to like force your brain into a whole different attitude and a different zone. Do you feel like, you know, having to do that, you know, turn right to turn left, really break your force of habit of just, you know, pinning left, did and is making a difference here on finishing positions and performance from drivers?
Yeah, it definitely does. You know, it is very hard to get in your brain to have to turn right to go left, and you also have to pump the pedals a little bit. And it's definitely something that's hard to get a hang on, like especially for myself. But then you have guys out here like DeWalt and Callahan and Nitty that this is just a second nature to them. I feel like they could take the trucks just about anywhere, whether it's gravel or dirt or the stand. It don't matter. I feel like these guys would, you know, eventually get it figured out. These guys are they're really good at what they do in these trucks.
Now, of course, I mean, we have a lot of laps left to go. Still 49 laps left to go. The 42 of DeWalt has been, I would say, batting a perfect game right now. We're about the 6th inning for him. It's almost to the 7th inning stretch. And he's literally about a few, just barely small maneuvers away from throwing away what would be a sweep here at the first dirt track event ever for the Truck Series. Did you feel like, you know, that nothing can go wrong for him now, or with these 47 laps and no cautions coming out and a lot of wrecks that are still going to happen, you know, being solo spin from drivers, that we might see that 42 slowly start falling back in position?
Yeah, it's definitely very tough on this track, because while we're watching him now, there's a lot of lap cars, so anything can happen at any moment that could screw his race up. Hopefully it doesn't. You know, he's racing for Mickey tonight, so it's good to see him do good in that 42 truck. But it's just on this track at night with, you know, 20-plus drivers, anything can happen. Even if there was 3 laps left, I would not feel safe until crossing that checker. So to answer your question, I think he has a really good rhythm that he's been sticking with. That's why he's going for the sweep. But as I said before, anything can happen in a split second that could end his night.
I mean, that's also going to be something that's very difficult to have to maneuver, you know, is this track. Not only, I mean, excuse me, we're not going to see much tire wear here as we are on dirt. Of course, asphalt, these tires would have been chewed up by now on this short of a track, which I would love to see us go here on the asphalt version. I feel like that would make some pretty good racing too. It'd be slow paced, but it would still be good. But of course, not really having to worry about the tires. You really don't have to worry about your aero damage. If you do get some damage to your fenders, you can kind of Tyler Reddick it for a win here. But of course, you know, the dirt is really your biggest thing. You see the 42 slap the wall a little bit with this line. Now, with a lot of people choosing this high groove early on and still at the later stage of the race, do you feel like there's going to be a point in time where in the next 40 laps we're going to see that bottom line kind of be mandatory, or do you feel like these drivers possibly have enough in them to be able to keep running that engraved high line?
Honestly, it's looking like the high line is going to work out for the rest of the race, in my opinion. Only time I could see people go in lower is they're trying to not experiment, but try to get that lap time a little quicker. You know, if they're just sitting at that same spot for a while, they're trying to, you know, hey, let me try to make some extra jumps in positioning. Maybe I'll try the low line. Let's see if it works out. But and I don't think these DeWalts and Nitty's, or Nitty's been going pretty low tonight. It's worked well in him qualifying and practice. But for DeWalt, it looks like it's gonna work out for him if he stays clean on that high line, because it's already worn out and he's still making good lap times with it.
See, and that's kind of something I've noticed as well. And it is kind of running a different hybrid line compared to where we saw him doing Heat 1. Now, I mean, he's really breaking that truck loose. He's almost halfway in the turns, facing the inside wall. We're going to go to the cockpit helmet cam right here and see if he'll do it on the next turn. I mean, wheel a full rotation around to the right just to be able to keep it straight. I mean, insane driving for him because he's really not even letting off the gas right now. But I mean, something we saw from him in Heat 1, he really stuck to that high side. He was consistently in that high side. Here we've seen a lot of dipping down for him to that low line just a little bit sometimes in the corners depending on traffic. He's going to make an insane change there and a great pass there while still in the gas. But of course now really kind of leaning back to that high side. So it actually, I kind of would agree with you. It actually seems like this high side is going to prevail at the end of the race. And this was kind of something that, you know, me, Jeffrey, and Aaron, and a couple of the other, you know, race control, you know, and race admins that make it happen behind the scenes. We were all kind of talking about this, you know, as a racing standpoint, from a broadcasting standpoint. You know, how would this track be with the amount of dirt that's going to come off it? I mean, you see dirt flying all over the air right now off the cars. Just cars are practically obliterated on the front splitters. Thank God we don't have tape on these cars because they'd be overheating with the dirt. So I mean, like, but you know, that top line was our biggest concern and number one priority going into here. And I mean, it actually seems to have worked out fairly well so far. I mean, we still have 33 laps of god-awful burning and turning still to do on that dirt, so it's going to be pretty hard to call. But you know, a lot of us felt like at this point in time there would be asphalt shown, and I don't see a bit of it being shown so far.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. Yeah, I can definitely see how that was going to be a concern on the high line with that just being ran out on the high line, and the wall just kind of proving it wrong. Same thing with Nitty when he's doing the high line. Because when you look at DeWald's lap times, they've been pretty consistent it's pretty much the whole race. I'd understand more if he was losing time, you know, each lap, but that hasn't happened yet. So it looks like these guys are going to continue to just use that high line, and I don't see it changing because there's only, you know, 30 laps to go, give or take. There's no overtime or anything like that. So it looks like it's working well for them.
Oh, looked like Omar was about to break loose in that corner there. He started diving in real low, but managed to keep it gone. Looking through your top 10 right now, just to give everybody a little recap, DeWald is in the lead. He is 7 seconds in front of Mike Nitty Jr., and he makes Nitty seem like he's standing still. Crawford with an accident there. He has just jumped to pits, so we're going to go back on replay and see exactly what happened. Seems like he cooked it in that corner just a little bit too hard, got back on gas way too early, almost saved it, and kind of just went nose first into that wall.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. Like it's very tough, and the thing about this track as well is on dirt, it can get very frustrating for a driver. I already went through that tonight, so I had first-hand experience with it, but it can be really frustrating. The best thing to do is just try to do the best, keep your control, keep your patience, and just try to move up each position. As even if you're not having a great race, it's a points race at the end of the day, and every position matters. So you just want to stay consistent as best as you can while you're driving safe. Even if you're not getting these, you know, these 19-second laps, even if you get 21-second or 20-second laps. You just want to keep a safe, consistent lap so you can finish this race and get the most points you can get.
Now we got another little bit of a track blocker. 78 of Aaron Wright around on the outside of wall, and he has jumped to pits. Caution going to be out now. Seems we also had a Morton crash and Mark Randall Jr. crash in the process. Let's see the 99s wreck here. Seems to be off of Mark Randall and Aaron Wright. Seems Aaron Wright's engine did blow. There's about 5 cars involved in that wreck there. Let's take a look from the inside cam of Aaron. If we can get that roll bar cam going. There it is. So this is where the 21 comes and makes contact with him, sends him to the outside wall. Blows his engine. And that is the reason for the caution coming out too.
That's unfortunate for Aaron. Very unfortunate.
Aaron was doing good too. He was sitting within the top 10. Right now, it's been pretty difficult for some of these drivers. We only had 8 drivers on lead lap as Francis now gets his lap back. We only had 7 before that caution. DeWald, Nitty Jr., Pena, Callahan, Jared Smith, Rodriguez Jr., and Bass were all the drivers still left on lead lap. First car lap down is going to be about 8th place for Matthew Francis, or Taylor Minor, excuse me, 9th place. Minor going to be a lap down. Of course, Singleton already out for the night, Damon Dean already out for the night, and now Aaron Wright. So a little of a tough situation. Oh yeah, and of course, you know, Blake Sharrow. But, you know, a tough situation out for DeWald, as he's going to have to go side by side with the man that's been trying to track him down. He's been making him look like he's been standing still. And now back green in the Veterans United Restart Zone we go. And can you believe it, Blake, that this is possibly going to be the first race we have seen that Mike Nitti is not really running up front consistently?
Yeah, I mean that's true. He's been running that truck so well all season long. Like this, I believe he had his first win at COTA, which was such unbelievable. You know, it was so fun to watch. Just him and David battle it out, and he is just on fire this season, just doing really well in that truck. And I see him making a run to win the championship this year as well. I don't know if he is going to be my pick, but I really think he's going to push top 3 easily for the championship. I know it's early still. He's just been running the hell out of that truck, and it's hard not to notice.
Now the man that we've been asking about this track for about 3 weeks now in post-race interviews is currently sitting in second. The man that said, I don't have what it takes to do it, I'm going to have to practice with Morton a crap ton to get there, is now confidently sitting in second above Nitti, but only 0.4 of a second in front, and about a second and about a half, almost a second and a quarter behind the leader. Of course, that is the 24 of David Callahan. Now going to be having to battle Nitti for a top 3 spot with 17 left to go here. And honestly, the race has went pretty fast here tonight.
Yeah, it's went very fast. I feel like I just jumped in here 10 minutes ago, and now we're almost over with it. But yeah, David, I'm surprised. See, David was going into this race. David was my for sure winner, at least compete, and here he is putting himself in a chance to win it. The Wald's been the best truck clearly all night, but if anybody can, you know, change the tape, it's going to be David. I could see him pulling something out late in this race.
And I mean, David kind of needs to get that fire under him ignited a little bit more. He is sitting top 5 in points. He is pretty comfortable. He already has his win. His other driver, Morton, already has 2 wins. I believe Morton is already out for the night. We saw him jump the pits there on that replay just a few minutes ago. But he needs to finish in front of Nitti. And this needs to be a occurrence on a weekly basis. He is sitting in 4th. Nitti is in 2nd with only 1 win, 6 starts. And of course, there is a bit of a gap between them. Nitti at 306 on points, Callahan at 271. So if he wants to actually get in front of Nitti, he's going to have to consistently keep finishing in front of him. Of course, when it comes down to stages and race finishes as well, to kind of start slowly sitting behind his other driver. Now, with the tracks we have coming up, I don't know how that's going to fare in the favor of Callahan. I mean, we have heard Callahan say he's going to be pretty comfortable at the rest of here after Eldora, you know, Nashville, Bristol, and Richmond. And that kind of locks up the rest of our regular season. 10 races for regular season, then moving on to Talladega to the playoffs. Do you feel like Callahan, I know you're anti-DCR, but do you feel like Callahan can actually make that boost and kind of push himself to pass Nitti on points?
I sure believe so. They've been going head to head like just about every race this season. It started out at COTA. They were, you know, Nitti ended up getting the win, and then David finished in 2nd. And then last week, Nitti got the win, David got the win, his first one on the season, and Eddie was right behind him. So they've been going head-to-head all year, and it's been so fun to watch. I do believe David can get past Nitty in these points. He is that type of driver that he can always overcome adversity. You know, we was watching him this race. He was 7th place, and just out of, after in this 3rd stage, he's jumped up into a prime chance to win it. He's now under 2nd on DeWald. But to go back to your question, I for sure believe David can get past Nitty in those points because he's very talented and one of the best drivers in this whole league.
No, I mean, it's getting a little tricky up here. Callahan actually making up time to DeWald right now. DeWald is only 0.83 tenths of a second in front of his competitors. Now it's down to about 7. There is a gap slowly approaching. I do not think DeWald might have what it takes left, as he is consistently banging and beating off that wall, which is now letting Nitty and Callahan catch up. With 6 laps to go, this is a very pivotal time for the 42, and he might be throwing away a race right here. He's really breaking loose in these corners.
Yeah, it's definitely that gap is getting a lot smaller and smaller. I'm sure there's only 5 to go though, so the wall could still hold it out. He just can't hit the wall anymore. He's got to stay as clean as possible, stay on that high line, keep that groove he's had all night, and he should have no problem, finishing out this race. But David's right behind him, so is Nitty. So like anything can still happen. There's still a lot of race to go with a lot of lap cars.
Now the biggest question here is, are we going to see them try to keep running this high line at the end? It's getting really loose. We're already sitting Nitty trying to make that low line run.
Ooh.
That's going to cost him a little bit of time, though, as there was a lap traffic car in front. That was the 38 at Chad Bass. So now Callahan can breathe just a little bit more because the gap between him and Nitty is a little bit off. Nitty now in the wall, so he's going to lose a lot of time. There's only going to be 2 laps left to go this time by the line. There is only 0.3 tenths of a difference between the 42 and the 24. It is now anybody's race. 2 laps to go. 1 white flag. This time by, of course, sponsored by the man himself, Decals, Paint and Photoshop. Now here's the question. Callahan does not seem to get it. He's going to fall to 3rd. Nitty's going to move up to 2nd. And it is practically a wrap-up with a bow. 1, 2, and 3 for the 42 of Christopher DeWald.
Wow, what a race! I believe this might be our first sweep of the Truck Series that I can remember.
If I am not mistaken, this is the first sweep, and what a way to do it. Inaugural season sweep for the Truck Series, and it's on a dirt track.
Wow, and it's for our boy Mickey. I hate he couldn't be here tonight, but glad his truck was able to get the win.
Insane performance there from the 42 here tonight.
Unbelievable.
It now. We're not going to see a blown tire here, but we'll definitely see some celebration. Seems to already be going into the infield. He wants to do what the Heat drivers couldn't do, and they saved it just for him. Drive up on that podium and claim. We actually might get a burnout now if he can hold it in place. He's trying. He's trying. Oh, he didn't even last long there. Well, damn. Screw you two. Look at that. The 42 of Christopher DeWald gets the win, and Mickey has just officially put in chat his granddaughter is here.
Yeah, let's go. Congrats. That's
What
awesome
timing.
news, man.
What timing.
What a way to win, too. His truck got the win in the 42, and he is officially a grandfather. That's crazy. It's crazy to think, Awesome. Congrats, Mickey.
It's insane, man.
Win-win for him. He gets to take a break from racing and go, enjoy time with his family, welcoming the granddaughter. And while he's not here, he still gets a win. That's awesome. We're happy for you, Mickey.
Yeah, 2 wins in one night, and of course, one better than the other. So, congrats to
Yeah.
you, Papa Mickey. Now it's Papa Stewart. For the rest of our time, it is the people's champ, Papa Stewart.
Wow, that's awesome.
Of course, Christopher DeWald able to take the win here tonight by a close margin at the end. 9/10 of a second, as the competitors just didn't have what it takes. Mike Nitti Jr. still finishes in second, so unfortunately for Callahan, Mike still finishes in front of him for another week, keeping himself on that points list strong. And David Callahan rounding out your top three. Tristan Pena just outside the top three in fourth, with Matthew Francis sitting in about fifth place. So, of course, top three interviews, something we always do here. And we're going to start off with David Callahan, give the drivers just a few more seconds to get out of the seats, get the dirt out of their eyes, and get something to drink. All right, well, we're only going to have top two interviews, so we'll make them a little bit longer than normal. We're going to start off with David Callahan, who finished in third place. A man we still have been talking to on a consistent basis, that being the 24, who just can't leave us alone. Well, you know, kind of want to talk a little crap to you, man. Un-
changed quite a bit very quickly. And yeah, it was New York City traffic at some points.
So where I want to talk a little bit of crap to you at is you literally had the nerve for the last 3 weeks to say you didn't think you would be good here. And you finished in third, held second for a long time, and was actually in the process of working up to the rear of DeWald up until that situation where it just seemed like you couldn't hold it on that top side anymore, and unfortunately broke loose on the bottom and let the 64 Nitty pass you.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm sure you could see in the broadcast, the track was basically ice at that point. I found a solid method in those last several, that last little run to gain some time on him, and I was using it, and then it just shows if you get a little too aggressive, you can easily lose it just like that. I was trying to set him up for a last lap slide job, and if I was to have a good run out of two, which I was gaining on him every lap, and I was going to throw it in 3 and 4. But that just shows you, man, you take an inch, it gives an inch, you take a mile, and you pay for it in the end by not only not winning the race but not even finishing second. So that's on me.
Yeah, David, congrats on your top three, man. I know you was my pick to win this race, and you still had a good race. Top three still better than finishing anywhere else. I know you wanted that win. This is your bread and butter, but hey, top three still great. It still helps you in the standings.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
Going back on what you were talking about, the New York traffic, how did it feel once everything got settled in the race when there was a bunch of lap traffic? How much different is it on here on dirt when it comes to passing lap cars than it is on your regular concrete oval?
Yeah, it's it's a lot less predictable because a lot of the times on asphalt and concrete, drivers you can say stay low and they stay low. You say stay high, they stay high, and it's easy for them. But here, it's like just because I turn low doesn't mean my truck's going to stay low. I'm going to shift up. If I say stay low, next thing I know, that truck's in the middle because they tried to. I've seen a lot of trucks do that. A lot of slower trucks in the racing line at the top of the surface. Um, and it's just the way that dirt is. You just have to find your way through traffic and kind of work with what you got. You seen early in the race, Mark Morton. He was doing a hell of a job up there leading and just lap traffic. It's
Hmm.
it's unfortunate, but it's part of the game. It's part of the race. I kind of wish things worked out differently for him because, as you guys seen, he had a hell of a truck. I had a hell of a truck. We had a lot of confidence after practice and qualifying and the warm up session coming into this race. But I'm I'm okay with a second. I had a lot of confidence and expectations from other people and myself. To get this win and to go back to back would have been phenomenal. But yeah, I'm not going to complain too much about a second place, and we'll just see what happens in Nashville.
Of course, standings are already updated from Darlington Race 6. You were at fourth with 271 going into this race. You are still in fourth with 316th, but unfortunately, your teammate, the 99 of Morton, has now been dethroned as the points leader, giving that to Nitty Jr. at this point in time. Singleton, not too far from your grasp now, as you guys literally only have a 3-point difference after he was unable to finish tonight. Now, with the rest of the season at hand, how do you feel on possibly going to get a team 1-2 or at least, a team top 3 finish?
Yeah, we're pretty confident going into Nashville. I know Mark is he's pretty solid there. I've seen him win a couple races there. I've ran okay last season in ARCA. I think I had a top 5-ish car. I was in, if I remember correctly, I was in third, and I got in the last lap coming to the white issue and finished 11th. But I think I'm okay there. I'm pretty confident in him. So looking forward to hopefully both of us in the top 5. Clean trucks, leading laps, finishing high in the stages, just trying to max out what we can. It's going to take a lot to, overcome the consistency of Nitty because he's week in and week out. He's at the front. He's got a clean truck. He's not getting into any accidents, and if he does, it's something slight. So it's going to take our A games every week in and week out to make sure he doesn't get too far ahead.
Yeah, man, DCR's been doing great though. I know you're a good team owner. You got your guys in check every week, and it looks like it is paying off. I know Morton he was very unlucky in this race, but man, just you guys always have consistent finishes for the most part, and y'all are doing a great job. Back on that the Nitty point, man, it seems like y'all are building a little rivalry. It seems like every week y'all are going head to head. Whether it was at Coda when he bested you when you finished second, he got the win, or last week when you were able to get the win and he finished second, and even tonight y'all were going back and forth. It looks like it's becoming a rivalry for this league, especially in trucks.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Coming in to this season, I knew he was going to be fast. The laps he would lay down last season, just, even though he's race control, he would throw some practice laps down, and you're just looking at it like, wow, this guy's faster than the fastest guy, and he's got to get out of his car and go to the tower. But, I knew coming in to this season, I was like, each week, no matter where we're at, we're turning left, right, sliding, I
Hmm.
expect him to be not outside the top 5. So,
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and
yeah,
one
it's
more
just,
thing I wanted to add.
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it's going to take a lot of practice week in and week out to do what we can, and a little bit of luck
Hmm.
to catch him and to try and maintain a gap, a smaller gap than there already is.
Okay. Yeah. Like I'm gonna add one more thing before I
Yeah.
give it back to Tyler. Man, I honestly felt like if there was 5 more laps, if this was 120 laps, I really thought you kept closing the gap. It was 2 seconds, and then it was a second, and then you got it to, I believe it was point 0.7. And I know you
Mhm.
made that move to try to get some time back, and wasn't able to work. But I just had a feeling if there was 5 more laps. I thought you had it, man. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate that you weren't able to get the win, but congrats on getting that top 3 still.
yeah, I appreciate it. And basically right before that last caution, I passed Nitty and Pena, so I knew DeWald was like half a track. I was like, I'm gonna have to run perfect to catch him. And then luckily the caution came out. But when it did come out, I lost those 2 positions back. So, Pena wasn't easy to pass. Mike's not easy to pass. And luckily I was able to get around them fairly quickly after the restart, and then track him down. But like I said earlier, man, it just goes to show you be a little too aggressive, and you bite the bullet. So
Now, of course, the biggest question that I feel like everybody has been anticipating, knowing how Nashville Fairgrounds is going to go, what can we expect from DCR?
that is a good question. I don't know if we've done too much practice there. I know I've been busy with making everybody look good. That's going to be on the track. Um, I'll have to get with my guys, see how comfortable they are. If they need some help, I'll definitely try and hop in there and help them when I can, if I can. But yeah, I'm pretty confident in all 3 of them. I think they're gonna show out like they always do. I expect to see them, if not the top 10, the top 5. So confident in all my guys, and hopefully we can have a little Nashville sweep.
And of course, man, before we let you go and enjoy the rest of a early Thursday night here, as this is unfamiliar for us, doing interviews about how long? An hour and 19
About an hour
minutes into the
early.
broadcast. Good Lord. I
Yeah.
feel like I owe half of them my paycheck back for tonight. do you have any shout outs you want to give to anybody?
Yeah, man. First, I want to thank my team, everybody at DCR, Toyota. Really appreciate what they do. Want to thank you guys for being in a booth. Looking forward to watching that. Again, shout out to Chris for a great run. He's very talented to basically lead the entire race and win the stages and navigate through all that traffic. Thanks to all the admins that helped set this up. Jeff, Aaron, so appreciate everybody.
Well, of course, man, we appreciate you coming out here, doing what you do, putting on a good show for not only us, the fans at home, and of course for a lot of the drivers that love to watch this replay as well. So, congratulations to the top 3 finish. Hoping to be talking to you again next week at Nashville.
Looking forward to it, fellas. Y'all take it easy.
Yes, sir. You
Yes,
too.
sir. Good racing, David.
That being, oh, I moved the wrong person. Sorry, Blake, I moved you out the channel.
You're fine.
That being our top 3 finisher in 3rd place, Mr. David Callahan. Now, of course, one other person to interview tonight, as Nitty is not available for his interview. That is going to be who is initially the number 84, driving the 42 tonight, putting in victory lane before Papa Mickey can do it. That is the 42.
Grandpapa Mickey.
That's the 42 of Christopher DeWald.
Up, guys?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm good. Trying to calm the nerves back down after that race.
I mean, well deserved too, man. It's been, I feel like it's been an insane few weeks for you here.
Yeah, it's been quite the ride. From starting with Dover, leading all those laps and not getting the win, then coming back and taking the win at Vegas, which was awesome, and start climbing the points. And then while we were talking last week about in the truck race, Mickey said something about he's like, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to run next week, and it's Eldora. I don't know about that. And I was like, hey, if you need someone to run, I'll run it for you. I'm, can't promise anything, but I think he'll be happy.
Oh, he's for sure happy because he was watching tonight, and in Mickey fashion, by the time that you crossed the line and was doing your burnouts to put that car in victory lane, we literally got the announcement in chat that his granddaughter was born. So I mean, literally
yeah.
1-to-1 timing for you guys. But I
Yeah.
mean, you had an insane race here. You qualified first. You kind of came out pretty early on and held that lead. You really didn't have to fight too hard for it. Of course, you had some drivers try to give you a little bit of a fight. Tristan at some point in time, Callahan a little bit from Nitty, of course, but you were able to hold it down and get the first sweep for the truck series. So how does that feel for you tonight?
It feels great. Like I said, first of all, congratulations, Mickey, on a brand new granddaughter. That's super exciting. So congratulations to him. And you definitely want to say thank you for letting me drive the truck tonight. Feels good to sweep everything. I'm just happy to get him some points. Just contribute to Right Time Motorsports as best I can. As I've said before, I appreciate them letting me run with them and just trying to do the best I can to get some points and finish them off.
Yeah, congrats, Chris, man. What a performance. As Tyler said, that's the first series sweep of the season. In the 42 car, you did a great job. So my question comes from the race where, coming into it, we know how dirt tracks work. That dirt gets ran out real easy. Sometimes you have to change your lines. We noticed that you stayed in that high line the whole time, and it looked like the times didn't change much, your lap times. Did you ever feel a difference going into, let's say, the first 10 laps than the last 10 laps? Was there a difference for you on that high line, or did you just feel very smooth the whole way going?
The first 10 laps, I mean, there was a bunch of grip and you could really drive off the corners. So you
Hmm.
kind of throw it in there, let it slide a little bit, and then just kind of feather the throttle and just pretty much not, you don't want to go full throttle right away, but then just slowly ease back into full throttle to get down the straightaways. Once the track got rubbered in and got slicked off like that, the biggest thing I notice is it feels like the truck gets tight, but there's just no front grip because it gets so slick. So once the cushion got built up, you could kind of feel where the cushion was, and you could kind of put your right rear tire against it and have a little extra drive off. Um, Once it got slicked off like that, I just kept modulating the throttle as best I could to stay in that line. I knew that everybody else is going to have to pretty much run the same line. So if I was able to stay ahead of them, unless somebody got super creative and was able to somehow kind of hop the cushion and there was a little bit of extra grip on the other side of the cushion once we kind of really rubbered it in the track. But there's definitely a difference, but it just felt. It was just help being in practice. I mean, the track got rubbered in like that in practice, and so I was able to go out there and turn some laps and get used to it.
Now, of course, like Callahan said, it was New York traffic out there at a lot of points and times. Did you feel like that kind of affected you at any point in time, either consistently staying within your line, having to kind of dodge some of the drivers? There were a few drivers that were just kind of, Sunday driving it around the track, not trying to go a little bit too hard to keep a good finishing position. And then of course you did have drivers as well that were going pedal to the metal and were kind of all over the place, still trying to find grip in the lines as they got worse. But for you personally, do you feel like lap traffic was a bit of a hard, maneuverability point for you, or was that, pretty comfortable?
Yeah, there was a few times where we would get into kind of get into a situation where guys are running in the same line I'm running in, and I'd have to either change up or I'd have to basically just slow up but just enough and basically drive down from the middle straight to the middle of the front stretch or the back stretch to get around them. Most of the guys seemed to be cool, and if I either said something over the radio or if they saw me coming, they'd either go low or sometimes you got to be creative trying to get around those guys, especially on dirt. Nobody really has a full grasp of exactly where the truck's going to be going. So, um, just trying to be careful when I got around them. I just be a little extra creative trying to get around them, and then once I was able to kind of clear them, I was like, all right, let's focus on the next one and try to get around them. And once we kind of got some space, it was a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, man, you just been on a real high horse lately. As you mentioned before, you led all those laps at Dover, and then that last caution kind of screwed you up at the end. You won ARCA last week at Vegas, and now you're here again. In the with the win at here at Eldora and dirt. I know you're driving for the 42, but man, like, are we going to see you the rest of the season in trucks, or are you going to just stick to a part-time schedule? What's your next move for trucks?
If somebody wants me to run their truck, I'm more than happy to try to run it. If I'm around, obviously gonna continue to finish out the season with ARCA. If there's an opportunity, and like I said, somebody wants me to run the truck, or I know the Right Time has an open truck, so I may look at the schedule, see what's out there, and see if there's something I might want to try my hand at to maybe try to get better. That really used Eldora as a chance to kind of learn a little bit of racecraft and throttle modulation and stuff like that. Since these trucks, especially in some of the officials, the trucks and the Xfinity cars or O'Reilly cars and Cup cars, got to really work with the throttle. So we'll see. I'd love to be able to run a few more. Like I said, I have to look at the schedule and kind of see when I'd be able to stick around for one. But yeah. So I ran the warm up race last night, the practice race. I had never been to that track before, so I was really happy with how I ran. There's still a lot of these guys in the ARCA series that are very good that, um, I'm still trying to measure up against and try to see how well I stack up against them. Guys like Mark Martin, Omar is obviously very good there in the ARCA series. So same with Tristan Pena. So I mean, hoping some of the confidence carries over. Confidence is obviously key in this situation. So we'll see. It's a completely different track. The throttle modulation off the turn, the corners is a big thing. So hopefully I'll be able to use some stuff I learned tonight for next week at a pretty worn out old racetrack at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, and I got one more question for you, boss. So that last caution, what was going through your head? Because you had about like a 7-second lead on second, and then that last caution comes out, and you're all grouped together. What was going through your mind? Like, were you still confident that you were going to pull out the win? Were you, like, what was going through your head at that point when that last caution came out and got the guys behind you right next to you?
A little bummed. Can't say here what I was saying out loud over the radio with my team, but aside from that, I mean, I figured, all right, if I get a good launch, I did it last time. If I just stick with what I was doing before, I should be okay. Um, but this high pressure situations like that, like the restart at Dover, like last week with Vegas, in those situations is is super important, and having good guys around you that know what they're doing, know how to race, and aren't going to be super aggressive or dirty or anything like that. So I figured with the guys around me, I was in good company. Turns out I was in very good company, so I appreciate those guys racing me clean. But yeah, immediately not fun, not good thoughts. But once I kind of settled back down, I said, all right, did it before. I'll do my best to do it again, and was able to prevail on that one. So I was definitely happy with it.
Now, of course, we're not going to take up much more of your time as it is still pretty early, and it's you. This is not normally what you do on a Thursday. So, of course, before we let you go, man, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give to anybody?
Again, congratulations, Mickey. Thanks for letting me drive the truck tonight. Hope I did you proud. Got you some good points to help you move up in the points for the trucks. I want to thank Right Time Motorsports for again letting me drive the truck for Mickey. Thank you both of you guys for doing the broadcast. Thank David and for sponsoring the race. Just thank everybody around me for racing clean, having a good time. It was a lot of fun out there. I've had a lot of fun on iRacing these past few weeks racing with everybody. So I just want to thank everybody for being welcoming and letting me race with y'all. And looking forward to continuing in the ARCA series. And we'll see if every so often I might be able to jump back in the truck.
Well, of course, man, congratulations to your win here tonight. Being able to say you are the first person to sweep a race in a series where you don't run is a very big stat. So, of course, congratulations to you, man, and definitely look forward to seeing how you're going to tear that track up next Wednesday in the ARCA series.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Glad to have something to my name, but just keep on digging.
All right, you have a good one, man.
Thanks, you guys too. Have a good night.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
That was our race winner. Hey, look, I moved the right person this time. That was our race winner, Christopher DeWald. A crazy race, man. What
fun race. Such a fun race. So much more fun watching it than racing it.
It makes me want to get on the track and go run Eldora, regather the guys, and go
Not
do a
me.
fun race
I'll
right
take
now.
your spot. I'll stay in the booth, man. I've had enough of dirt for tonight.
Well, of course, pretty early race here tonight. And only an hour and 34 in the broadcast, and we didn't really have much downtime. About 2 minutes before we went live for pre-race, and then it was rolling through heats. We saw Heat 1 and Heat 2 winners go by pretty quick. I believe DeWald won a Heat 2.
DeWald wasn't in a heat because he had qualified first. So the top 10 speeds in qualifying did not have to run a heat.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That is right. That is correct. I know it was pretty tough, though, having to really qualify in the top 10 position with only one lap to do so. I feel like that made it a little bit better. You know, having to sit there and only get one really good hot lap out on a fresh track. You know, it was kind of make or break. Of course, like he said, that one lap kind of broke a little bit, but of course he was still able to manage. And thankfully, you know, he kind of came out and prevailed when it mattered the most. First sweep of the night here for him, and I would like to see him come back again, you know, to rerun if he does.
That's why I try to pick his brain. I wanted to hear a confident, like, yes, I plan on going full time in trucks. Have my own number, which he did race last week, I believe it was. But yeah, man, I would love to see him do it full time because I know he'd be up there with Needy and Callahan and Morton and Pena as well, and just get some good laps in and get probably more wins if he stayed in it.
Now, of course, session's already closed out, so I apologize about the black screen, folks. It was a pretty quick one. Of course, the duel on the dirt at Eldora, sponsored by Decals Paint and Photoshops, is officially over. Christopher DeWald gets first place. Mike Nitty Jr. gets second. David Callahan gets third. Tristan Pena in fourth. Of course, Matthew Francis in fifth, with Omar Rodriguez Jr. finishing in sixth. Taylor Miner in seventh. It was the first person to lap down too. All 6 cars were the only ones on lead lap. Laird Landers finishing in 8th, Bass in 9th, and of course Nolf in 10th. For a pretty fast-paced race here, I felt like this went better than what a lot of us expected it to be.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It was very fun watching. It had a good pace, only a couple cautions, but dude, it was very enjoyable to watch. And shout out to Taylor for getting top 10. I'm very proud of him. He's my teammate, so it's good to see him with a good finish like that.
Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't stop here. We go live 5 days a week, Tomorrow, we are live for the Naris Truck Series here and on YouTube. Saturdays for the Gen 6 Cup cars. Monday for American Stock Car Racing League. And then we will be back on Wednesday to restart the rest of the season for the Right Time ARCA Series, where we actually see Shero get put back in his comfort zone to where he actually can do something.
Mm-hmm. You're correct.
Of course, it has been a blast here tonight. I unfortunately cannot leave you with the last lap because the sim wanted to kick me out, which is unfortunate because I always love to leave it with a last lap situation. So we are going to end it here for the night, ladies and gentlemen. Oop, that is the wrong thing. Thank you guys for tuning in with us live. Be sure if you didn't tune in at the beginning of the race to go back to the profile and rewatch it. And if not, you'll be able to catch it on the Right Time Sim Racing YouTube page. Of course, Blake, thank you for coming out here tonight, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me. This is my second time on the booth, and I'm looking forward to more. It's been really fun. Just kind of not having to stress while racing. Just kind of kick back and watch some, fun racing with all the people you like and you talk to on a day-to-day basis, and it's really fun. Once again, congrats, Mick. Oh, Grandpa Mickey.
Oh, Papa Mickey, man. All right, on behalf of everybody on Asphalt Racing Network and the Right Time Sim Racing, Elliot Truck Series and ARCA Series, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, we will see you around if we don't see you on another day.